crazy. Like I've had situations where I've had some of the most emotional days at work. I'm just like really like torn them up. Like I'm there at the mic, more just to get out. I have no ideas in mind, and I'll just show up and like just had a crazy day, and I'll just be really emotional, and I'll just go up and just spew random shit on the mic, and like it ends up being a great set. It's like that's always awesome. That's one thing I enjoy about. I mean, how I do comedy, because it's very much it's an avenue for me to kind of vent all the crazy mortuary stuff I have to deal with, you know?
Do you feel you're funnier when you're sad?
Absolutely. It's terrible.
Why though?
People laugh at sadness, you know? No one wants to hear, like, oh, I had an amazing day today. Like, oh my God, like, fucking everything's going great. No, they want to hear, like, you had a fucking bad day. Because most people have bad days, and if they don't, like, it's nice to hear people that did. Because it's like, you know, oh, I didn't have one of those, so haha, let's laugh at this person's misery.
What's the worst day that you've shared on stage?
Like I said, some of those times it happens to be some of the best nights of myself, like at least comedically. Or
no, but I mean the story. Like, what was like if you could say like what was it that you shared on stage that you know that you would consider like okay, that's you can do a quick summary, not the bit.
Yeah. I would say when this kid had killed himself, and I just talked about like I did a random just what popped in my head and ended up being like I still use this bit to this day. Yeah.
What do you think like motivates you to do stand up when it comes to like death? Like you work a lot with death.
Yeah.
What about death makes you want to joke about it?
I've always been interested in comedy, so that's always been a big part of it. But also a big part of it for me is like when we're back there, like working with some of these corpses, like it's pretty traumatic situations. In every funeral home I've worked at, several funeral homes, and every funeral home I've worked at, we're back there, we're making jokes because we have to make light of the situation. And a lot of situations are just like, dude, there's some good material comes out of that. Like I can't like not share this.
Do you ever feel like some jokes might be disrespectful to a...
Oh, absolutely. There's a lot of, dude, I would say probably 75% of material that when I come up with that word, I don't ever do on stage because it's just too personal or it's too offensive or it's too much. I can't do it.
I think it's a lot like an artist, right? Where like there's some things we doodle, but it's not going to be a painting.
Exactly. Yeah. No, absolutely. There's a lot of times where I'll just come up with random ideas and I'll just see where it leads, and it's like I'll come up with little notes. But for the most part, like, I'll try to pull whatever I can that's digestible up on stage. But I know there's a lot of it that's not. So it's like, I just won't ever. That's just for me. That's a little personal story for myself in my memoirs. You know.
What's a style of comedy that you wish you could do more of?
More improv. More crowd work. Myself, I find myself because of the day job, I'm very polite. I'm overly polite, so I'm not good with like being aggressive with the crowds or anything like that. I'm just overly polite.
So, do you notice that like some nights you'll pick a certain style over another, or you just try to stay the same?
There's some nights where like I know it's a whatever night. There's like those I'll just kind of do what feels good in the moment, and those end up being some of the best nights. I have other nights where I do my regular set. A lot of people that know me I have a regular set, and those do great. But just every once in a while, for myself personally, those nights that are random are some of my favorite. Yeah.
I remember one time I couldn't figure out what I was gonna say, so I just told myself, figure it out 5 seconds before you grab the mic.
Oh yeah.
And I did 5 minutes on a stain on my pants, and yeah, it was not a good stain, but. So
it was a great set.
Yeah, but I still use that like rule where like if I know it's dire, I don't go with anything. I just figure it out 5 seconds before I grab the mic.
Yeah.
So what's something that you do, like when you're stumped on stage? What's your?
Oh man, like. Dude, when I'm stumped on stage, for the most part, because being the mortuary guy, I just kind of fall back on a story that I have. Either whether it be rehearsed, something I either have ready like in the pocket, or just some other random. Because there's like a a whole like endless well of just random stories that I have, dude. So I just pull from that when I can.
Do you ever make some stories up that are just a little like maybe like this could have happened, or maybe what if this happened, or are they all based in reality?
Good question. No. For the most, they're all based on reality. There are a few. There's like one or two stories that I tell that are not technically my stories. They're coworkers' stories. They happen to them. I happen to not be there in that situation, but they shared the story with me. I'm like, there's no way I'm not going to share that.
Yeah, I steal that.
Yeah. So
Mine.
I'll steal that.
Mine.
I'll steal non-comedian coworkers'
Yes,
stories.
yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I've always told people, I'm like, I ask them like, are you a comedian? They go, no, I'm 16. I'm like, okay, now. But so let me see. Where do you want to get to with stand up?
Ah, man, thank you. That's a good. I don't care. I don't like. It would be cool if something comes of this. It's fucking awesome. But ultimately, I really have given a lot. I've been doing comedy almost 10 years, and I've given a lot of thought. I've been doing mortuary work for almost 20 years, and I care more about the mortuary work. I will always stay with that. I feel like no matter what, no matter how big I get, I'll always come back to be able to help families. So if something comes to the comedy stuff, awesome. But like, I don't give a fuck, dude. Like, this shit is only fucking temporary. It doesn't really fucking matter. What matters to me is I made a fucking room full of people laugh, like, dude. And so like, if something comes to that, awesome. If not, I don't give a shit. I have my purpose.
What's been the most rewarding part about being a mortuary? Mortuarian?
Mortician.
Okay.
A mortuary.
Isn't that somebody who like you string up the bodies with like strings?
Right.
Mortuarian.
That's a ventriloquist.
Yeah.
Mortician. It's very similar to magician. We sew the bodies in half, and we put them back together at the end of the show. You know, hey, the most rewarding part, man, is honestly just like when families don't know what it's their first time going through, and they share with me it's their first time going through it, and I'm able to kind of help guide them through it, and like in a very, I'm a person, dude. This is somebody that just passed away. I very much treat it like that, so I'm able to guide them through it, and like at an affordable economic rate, and just kind of like, hey, still be respectful. That's for me. That's it. That's all. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Oh yeah. Thank you, brother.
Fuck yeah, dude. Thank you.
Oh yeah.